Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Thanks for hanging out with me today and happy first day of summer. I'm so excited. I am a summer girl, and I guess as long as it doesn't get too crazy hot. I know there's like heat waves in other parts of the country, but we are only like at 20, so it's not that hot here. I can say that I'm excited for summer here. Today, I'm going with the summer theme, and we're going to be making two super cute projects with the Ice Cream Swirl bundle. So I'm going to be making a card with a matching gift tag, and they're summery and fun, and you're going to love them. I should introduce myself. My name is Loritamarie from Loritamarie Crafts, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Calgary, Alberta, and I love to make cards and inspiration here for you so that you can take your paper crafting supplies and turn them into beautiful projects. So before we get headed into our projects today, there's a couple things going on that I just wanted to bring to your attention. The first one is that Stampin' Up! Is having a bundle sale until the end of the month. So sale is 10% off. So bundles are already 10% off if you didn't know, and then they're adding an extra 10% off. So if there's a bundle that's been on your list, so you're thinking about this month is the time to get it for sure. And you can find all my links and everything here in the description, or you can always check out information on my website, which is loritamariecrafts.ca. And then machines are on sale too. So the Stampin' Up, the full size Stampin' Cut Emboss machine, and the mini. So if you're just starting out, or if you love to travel or camp or something, you need the mini, and you can get it 10% off this month. So that is what's going on there. And then today is also the very last day to sign up for my June Stamp and Create class. So my Stamp and Create classes are a way to try out a combination of products and make a little bit more elaborate projects than what I normally show. I take you through, usually it's about an hour step-by-step video tutorial, and you do it on your own time. And if you're in Canada, I can send you the whole kit with everything inside that you need. Or if you're outside of Canada, you can purchase the tutorial and just work at it at your own pace. And so today's the very last day. I'm going to pop a link here in the comments, or again, you can find under classes on my website, and hopefully you can find everything you need. So today's the very last day. So I'm ordering all the stuff tomorrow morning on Friday. Oh, I gotta show you it. I was gonna show you it. It's just sitting right in front of me and I'm looking at it. So we're gonna be making two super cute projects. I'm calling them Happy Mail, which means that they can fit into a regular size envelope, but there's like all these little like fun ways that they open and flip up and stuff. And it's featuring the To Market suite. So you get half pack of the To Market DSP, which is so fun. I always include some coordinating cardstock and ribbon. We're going to use peach pie and the matching gems. Plus I cut all the cardstock and everything for you. So it's awesome. Go check it out. All right, that's all the businessy stuff. Let's get to the crafting. Crafting. Clear everything off. I hope you guys are doing well. If you're catching the replay, thanks for coming in and checking out the replay later on. I know it's beautiful out and summery, and so you're probably out enjoying the weather. So if you can catch this when it works for you, I really appreciate that. So like I said, I'm going to be playing with the Ice Cream Swirl bundle. And, well, it's not a bundle technically anymore, but it's got a stamp set and it's got coordinating dies. So we've got the ice cream with some fun little things you can add to it, and the ice cream cone. Those are the major parts of the dies. And I'm going to be going full on into some summer colors and focusing on Petunia Pop, which is one of the new ink colors, and it is so pretty and it's perfect. So let's get to it. But if you want to try a different color, you can. This is going to be like a project that's easy to tweak into your own favorite colors and to make it your own, and you can use the layout ideas. I hope that you always take away something that you can use in your own card making. So the first thing that we're going to do is get a card base, and I'm just going to use basic white. So this is thick basic white. I'm going to cut it in half and then score it in half at 4 1/4. If you want like a bolder, brighter colored card, you can use a colored card base. Sometimes I find it like too bright, and that's why I go to a white card base. But if you love all the color, I say go all in there and just make your card base a color too. Then I need a piece of Petunia Pop that is about 2 3/4 by 5. And then I wanted to add in a piece of matching DSP. So you could use, if you've got the in color DSP, you can use any of the patterns there. This is actually from the Unbounded Beauty Suite, and, or yes, what's the DSP called? Unbounded Beauty. And so I've just used the pattern that's in Petunia Pop. I'm gonna make it slightly shorter at 4 3/4, and they're gonna layer up so it can be any width. This is probably about, I don't know, 2 1/4 because I had a scrap, but if it was at least about 1.5 inches, that would be plenty. So we're going to start there. But this is a bit too plain for me. So what do you do if you're feeling like, oh, that's a bit blah? The best thing to do is to add texture. So I'm going to grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm going to use an embossing folder that I hadn't even used before. And it is so cute. So it's called Fun Patterns. There you go, very creative. And there's 2. So these are mini, so these will fit in the mini machine, and so you can kind of see the pattern on this one. But I'm going to use this one. If you know me, I love daisies and flowers, and so I was really drawn to this pattern. And because I've got this smaller piece, it's going to fit right inside this smaller folder. And I do want it to be straight, so there's a black line at the bottom that I'm going to line up my cardstock in. And then our sandwich, as we call it, I don't need number 2. So I need platform 1, and then a cutting plate, my folder, and another cutting plate, because this is just a normal thickness embossing folder. It's not a 3D one. Okay, so we're just going to run that through, and you're going to love this pattern. Okay, if you hadn't seen this, sometimes embossing folders kind of get lost in the shuffle in a catalog. But once I did this the first time, I was like, this is so cute. I want to use this all the time. So I'm just trying to, where do I put all the things? Here. So I'll open this one up. And isn't that cute? I love this pattern. I think you might see this in the future on a few more projects. So this is just the base of our card. So we're just going to start here and get our adhesive on there. I'm just using Stampin' Seal around the outside. Okay, and then on the edges of this one. And then, like I said, I'm just kind of layering it up. It's got a bit of a fat border that I want to go for, just to break up all the bright colors. So I always find it hard to get straight when I'm doing the videos. Okay, something like that. There we go. All right, so now the focal point. We need to create our ice cream cone. So first thing we do is cut out our pieces. And so for this one, I'm just going to show you straight up how to cut the pieces. On the tag, we're going to add a few more techniques so that you can see how to step it up a bit. So I need platform 1 and 2, my bottom cutting plate, and we're going to cut out the ice cream cone in crumb cake. And I've got the cone here, and you can see it's double because we're going to use the double on our second project. And then this is the texture. So it's a second piece that you're going to want to just tuck inside 1/2 and then just kind of make sure it's centered. You can use your washi tape if that helps keep that together for you. I'm going to run this through. I don't know if you're thinking about ice cream today on the first day of summer. What's your favorite ice cream? I always like, what is your favorite ice cream? I like pralines and cream, or like something fruity, something caramelly. I like the caramel ones. Actually, I need this again. And then we're also going to cut out our ice cream cone while we're got all the things. So this is how you cut out the ice cream. So you've got an outline and you've got a detail. And you can stamp too, which we're going to do on the next one. But this one, I'm going to cut out the detail in this DSP. This is also from the Unbounded Love DSP. So this is going to be the base. And then I'm going to use Pretty in Pink for the detail here. And we'll cut these out. All right. The new end colors are just so summery anyway, so if you're doing any summer projects, just start with the end colors. I think you won't be disappointed. You're going to give just the right look for what you want to do. Okay, so let's poke out all these. Don't need these. And then this is what the detail looks like. And then we've got our base. So now this can obviously be turned into a card, but for this one, I just want the front. So I'm just going to cut it in half. You're not going to see my cutting line, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we can put this together. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of here and put these together. So however you want to put your dots on, I just use a little bit of the multi-purpose glue. And then we can layer these up together. Just takes a second to dry. And then when you got the 2 layers, then it just adds that kind of swirl, right, for that perfect ice cream look. And then I'm going to put a little adhesive on my cone. And then put it down. So the cone is big, so you do kind of need to make sure that you've got it far enough down your cone that it's going to fit on your card. So I would just say keep that in mind when you're building your little cone. Otherwise it's not going to fit. And I'm going to put dimensionals on the back. And then this part. So we've got the base of our card here, and now we've kind of added the big focal point, which is our large ice cream cone. And now we can add the details. So the first thing I'm going to do is our sentiment. And so I've gone ahead and cut out, I think somewhere, a circle to put our sentiment on. So I'm using my new favorite circles, Spotlight on Nature Dies. They're still back ordered, but keep your eye out. If you want me to keep an eye out, just let me know. And I will let you know when they're back in stock. I'm just going to use the Ice Cream Swirl stamp set today. So we've got Make a Wish. And I'm going to stamp in Petunia Pop. And then you can stamp a nice big happy birthday inside from a different stamp set. Or you could just stamp the ice cream and then write your note. So we could just do this, but we're going to add some ribbon. Got to add more things, right? So I like the look of adding the gingham ribbon to this. And so I think I'm using about 12 inches. I'm going to do my usual kind of like fold back and forth into thirds. And this is the black and very vanilla check ribbon. And it just kind of adds like a fun look to your card, right? I haven't used this for a while. I'm going to use tear and tape to put it on my card. I use tear and tape with Urban or glue dots or something that's kind of just a little extra sticky so that your card stays together. And then you just peel off the backing. Just make sure you stick it on. Then the backing will come off pretty easy. And then I just kind of use that as a guide to how I put my ribbon on. So just kind of like that. Now, again, I could leave it like this. I'm just showing you how I layer up my cards, but I wanted another layer, so I'm going to add some linen thread to it. And the linen thread ties in with our crumb cake ice cream cone, and I'm going to double up. Oh, I think I made that too short. Too short. Let's see. That might be too short. I'll use it on something else. I forgot I doubled this one up, so it's going to want to be a little bit longer. If it's too curly, sometimes I just run my fingernail along it to make it straighten. So I want to have 2 loops on each side. And then I usually just gather it up in the middle, put it in a glue dot so that it stays together for me. And then we'll just plunk that in the middle. And then we just need some dimensionals behind our sentiment. Okay. There, so cute. So we're not done yet. Let's keep going. This is all about layers today. Adding all the things. We're going to fold this in half. And then the stamp set has all these cute little accents that you can add, right? So we're going to add the strawberry today onto this one because I've got that pretty in pink ice cream. I kind of want to tie that in somewhere else on the card. So we'll take the little strawberry. Yeah, Meg, it's all about the food. She said, when I did the burgers, I convinced you to go to Five Guys, and now I've got to convince you to go to McKay's. It's a famous ice cream shop around here. Yes, now we all want ice cream, right? Perfect. So you can color your strawberry any way you like. I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends, just because they just make coloring so easy. So I've got my light granny apple green for that. And then I'm going to use my light pretty in pink for the strawberry. And I just got the brush ends, and then I'll probably just go over again in a couple places, just so it's a little darker on the outside, a little lighter in the middle, and then it kind of has that shaded look, right? And then we're going to cut this out. I feel like I should have grabbed my mini. Mini fits on the desk a bit better. And then we'll cut this little guy out. So there we go. So there's also the little donut, the little cherry. Whatever you want to add. There's our little strawberry. So to finish this off, you can add a little sparkle. So if you haven't used your Wink of Stella in a while, you can pull that out. This is basically like a glitter pen. And so maybe I'll put it over all the pretty in pink that we can see here. And then it just kind of gives an extra little shimmer. Sometimes this is not the kind of thing that shows up on the camera well, but in person, it makes it a little shiny, and it's got sparkles in it. And then you could even put some on your strawberry too. And that's just a little something extra. Not necessary, but just a little extra. And then I'm going to just put a little glue dot on my strawberry. I might tuck a, actually, oh, I didn't even get a glue dot on there. That's why it's not sticking. Let's try this. And then I might even put a mini dimensional just to secure it even better. And then with the in colors, we've got lots of gems to choose from that match. These are the in color shimmer gems, I believe. And so you can just mix and match your colors there. And just choose a few to put on. And there is our first ice cream card. All right, now we need to make our little gift tag, and this is super cute. So to start our gift tag, since you've already seen me cut this out once, I've gone ahead and cut out another one. Look at the nice mess I've got on my all the things. Crafting is not neat, people. Okay, so this is a little card, so you can fold it in half, and then you instantly already have a little card. Isn't that so cute? One way to add a little dimension to our ice cream cone is to blend on some color. So I'm going to use crumb cake, so just tone on tone. And then you got a sponge dauber, you got a blending brush, whatever you've got. And then if you just go over, it's going to pick up the lines, right? Like the details on the die, and then it just gives it that extra dimension, which is kind of nice. Okay. Right? Oh, don't make a mess though. So it just adds kind of a little bit extra dimension to it. And then we're going to do our ice cream cone, but this time we're going to stamp it. So I was trying to think of a way that make it look nice without me having to color it. If that makes sense. Because it just stamps the outline, but I didn't want to color the whole thing. So I'm going to show you what I did. I was wondering if this would work, and it does. So I'm actually going to pick this up. Oops, no, that's too sticky. It's too sticky. We'll do it this way. And I pick this up backwards. So this is actually the flat end. So this is not technically a reversible stamp set. There's some reversible stamp sets where you can do this. This is technically not one of them. But this is going to work, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to ink it up in Petunia Pop, and I'm going to just get that even there. I'm going to stamp it off once and stamp it on. So give it good pressure so that you're not missing any of the spots. Oh, I picked up some of the dark from that. Don't do that. Stamp it off on a clean piece of paper. But I don't think we're going to be able to see that. Then we're going to clean this off. Okay. And then we'll turn it over. And so this doesn't match up now, right? It's backwards, technically, this one, but it's still going to work. The shape is close enough that it's going to work. So I'm going to stamp the outline on top. And I'll just clean this before I move it out of the way. Close this up. And then when you cut it out with the die, it's going to be close enough that you're not even going to tell that those were like the opposite images. So we'll grab this. And so you're going to cut it out to match your outline. So cut it out to match the outline. Obviously, that's how the die matches up, right? And then you're going to see you just have a couple white spots. So you could, I don't know, it doesn't even bother me. It just looks kind of artistic. I like it. So that's an easy way to get the background without you having to color it. If you wanted to add a little extra, you could use your Wink of Stella again. So when I tried this in my first one, the Wink of Stella also takes off a bit of the color. It lightens it up a bit. So I just went kind of on the top of every line, every swirl of the ice cream. And then I added a little bit of the Wink of Stella. And then it's going to lighten up those lines a little bit. And then that just adds a little more texture. So you could definitely leave it if this is a step that you don't care about. But it's just kind of one other thing that you could try. So let me show you here. So does that show up on the, doesn't really? Okay, we'll see if it lightens up even more. In person, this pink is a little bit lighter along the edges. You can't really, it's hard to see that on the screen there. So we'll see how that turns out. So that's the first step. Then we're going to stamp some pieces here. So I'm going to stamp the little cookie straw. We're going to do the cherry because we've got this darker color, and then we're going to stamp the sentiment. So let's grab, trying to find a smaller, I don't know, don't have a smaller block. Where'd you go? Okay, so we'll stamp our cherry. And then we'll stamp, actually I need this one. Stamp our straw. I'm going to show you how to color those. Then we'll pick up our sentiment. This is the Hope Your Day is Sweet. And I'm just going to grab another scrap paper. And before we stamp this one, I'm going to take another Stampin' Blends. This is actually Bubble Bath, just because it's a little lighter. So you just want to kind of color onto your paper. That should be good enough. And let it dry a bit. I'm going to rush it because we're doing the video here, but I'd probably let it dry all the way before I stamped on it. So actually, maybe I will leave that. We can color our, what am I trying to say? Our cherry. So I think I'll color the stem with my pecan pie. And then I've got Berry Burst. And I chose Berry Burst over a red cherry just because it goes better with the Petunia Pop. So I'm just going to use the light. You could go in and grab your dark if you wanted to, but I'm just going to do the one color. And then I'm going to color my little cookie straw with the light pecan pie. Like so. Then I'm going to add the dark just on the left side. So I'm just kind of going to go down the left side. And then I've colored the littlest stripe all the way across. So these are my newest thank you kits if you place an order over $60 with me. So no stamped images are included, but you'll get all the cardstock kind of cut and prepped and ready for you to go. And then you can put your own little ice cream cards together for the summer. Okay. Now I'm going to stamp this on that background that I colored. Okay, so let's cut out our little accents. So, yes, definitely should have grabbed the mini today. This is taking over my desk here. So we got the cookie straw. Does this make you want a cookie straw now, right? Those, like you always forget the name of them, but they come in a tin. Those are good. I might have to get those. I know Superstore has them. So, cut this out. Okay, I promise that's the last of the machine today. Don't want to lose your dies. Stuck to my cutting plate. There we go. Okay, sometimes it's far away, but you can see our little cherry and the little straw. You can see how it kind of has a little dimension with it with adding the dark in there. And then I'm just going to use my paper snips to cut out the sentiment. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to cut this in half. You could use a die. You could use your paper trimmer. I'm just going to do it this way. You can make it straight. You could put it at an angle. And then it has like that color behind it. You kind of see that there. And then let's start putting this together. So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to pop up the ice cream. So I'm going to use the side of my dimensionals. So I'm just going to cut kind of to length what I need. And I'm going to put it right across the top. So close our little card, grab our ice cream, and actually I might need a couple more dimensionals at the very bottom. Okay, so that's the ice cream. Then it just flips open. I'm going to show you how to do the inside still and the tag. So hang out with me just for a little while longer. We're going to grab the straw and we'll tuck that behind a little bit. And the cherry can sit on top. Kind of like so. Then I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of the sentiment. And if the big ones don't fit, you can use the minis. Okay. So hope your day is sweet. Okay, then we're going to punch a hole in the top. So whatever hole punch you've got, oops, just punch it at the top of your ice cream. Then we'll use that same ribbon. Looks like I'm going to need another roll. I love this ribbon like in the fall, right? In Christmas. And then you wouldn't think maybe to put it on a summer card. But it actually looks really good. And the black kind of ties in all the black that you've done with your stamping and everything, and then goes together. So I've just cut, you know, like a 6 to 8 inch piece. Then we'll tie it in a knot to make our gift tag. And then I want to show you how to do the inside too. So just grab some white and then grab those dies. Oops. And then a pencil. Okay, and then we're actually going to trace the inside of our die. Or you could just cut it out, but I wanted it a little bit smaller. This is what I did. Okay, and then we're going to hand cut this out. I'd probably go slower if we weren't doing this. So as much as you want to be fussy, just kind of go along with the shape of it. Okay, and then it should be a little bit smaller, right, than what you've cut out before. And then I want to do the same thing. I suppose this is the wrong color. This is the wrong color. This will still work. I'm going to do this anyway. I was using Bubble Bath. This is Pretty in Pink. Got too many things on my desk. Color the background. And then you can go over it a couple times so it's nice and smooth. That doesn't look very smooth. And then you can stamp a little sentiment on it. So I'll show you my original one here. Oh, looks like I was frozen there for a second. So there is our cute little tag. And then let's show you the original where I did the inside with the bubble bath, and then I stamped this. This is from the Simply Said stamp set. Isn't that cute? Then you grab a gift bag, put it on, voila. Oh, I gotta like clear the wreckage here. Clear the wreckage. Bring back our card. Now you have the perfect matching set, and you could definitely change up the colors to whatever the person that you're giving it to loves too, although I love the petunia pop. So stay with me for a sec here. We'll come back up. So I hope you like these projects. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the first day of summer, making summery ice cream cards. And like I said, this is my free card kit until the end of June. So the end of June, if you make a purchase, I would love to send a little kit in the mail for you to make these cards and tags. Don't forget about my June Stamp and Create class if you want to go all in with making some fun new projects with products from the To Market Suite. Check out my website for all information, or if you need to contact me or find out more information, and it's Loritamariecrafts.ca. And I will be back next week. I think last week I said I was going to do scrapbooking this week because I missed this week. This week was my ice cream, and next week is my scrapbooking week. So I'm hoping to squeeze that in because the end of June is always crazy. But at the end of school, it's my sister's birthday and my son's birthday, and there's lots of things going on. So we're going to do all the things. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And take care and happy summer.